This is a podcast from Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. Welcome to Word from the Third, where we'll be taking a look at all the big stories and news from the third sector here in Torfaen. And on this edition, hearing from Pickleball and John Killick. Now, John, I think it is fair to say you are quite the local legend. You wear many different hats, but today, what are we talking about?
Pickleball, which is a sport that's come from the United States. I shouldn't say that probably because it'll already put some people off. It's a sport that has been designed using the outline of a badminton court. Is usually played indoors in this country because it's difficult to play it in the wind. And we use one of these bats and one of these balls. It's been designed really for people of a certain age in many ways. There are various rules in it that slow the game down a bit. Now, it can be played, and I've seen a couple of 17-year-olds play it at the Nationals in England, and they play it at a phenomenally fast speed. But in general, most of our club stuff tends to be at a slightly more sedate pace. It's very kind to your joints and very kind to your muscles, which again helps older people to play it. It doesn't have the jerkiness of badminton. It's all smooth shots, or it should be if you're playing it properly.
Question really I've got for you is, how did you get involved with pickleball? How did you find out about it?
My wife saw it saw an advert for it down at the stadium. And in fact, if you go down to the stadium, there's an enormous advert about it now. One of these big poster things outside. In fact, there's two. We'd been looking for something that we could do that was active together. We do a fair bit of walking, but we wanted to do something that was... We're both into sport, and we wanted to do something that was a sport. So she said, let's go down and have a look. And I would think it'd be fair to say that by about the third time of going, we were totally hooked, and largely down to her. I mean, for instance, at those All England Championships in 2019, so largely down to her, we won the mixed doubles for over 50s, and you'll know that I am not only over 50 but maybe on the next layer after that, but she is over 50, so that was the age group we were in. What difference do you think that pickleball can make in the community? Well, it's made a phenomenal difference particularly during this time. As a club, we've got 96 members, and when we were playing indoors on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning, we would regularly get somewhere around the region of 20 to 28 people playing. And then we'd have another 16 playing on a Friday evening. And then other people choose to play as and when they want to, using their own equipment or the club's equipment. The club uses its own equipment. When we started, or when the club started off, this was before Pam and I had started, the stadium didn't want to invest in pickleball equipment because it said it's never going to take off. And so the club got some money from Welsh Sports Council, bought its own, and we put it up ourselves now. Now, we're during COVID, we can't go into sports centres, so we've been using the tennis courts in Pontypool Park, and pretty well every time we've gone out, because, well, certainly for the last month or so, after it's rained, we're chalking the lines, and the chalk lines get washed away by the rain. So we're putting that down for ourselves. I mean, the response that I've had, because I've got in quite a lot of people that I used to play some badminton with. These are certainly people like myself of a certain age, and they have already all said, this has been a lifeline to us to be able to play sport, not necessarily what we were playing before, but they actually do really like the sport and to some extent find it difficult. Badminton's not an easy sport in many ways, particularly when your joints and muscles are starting to not react in the way that they used to. What kind of experience or fitness level do you need for pickleball? We've got people playing with the club who are in their mid-80s. Wow. We've also got people who are pretty active or pretty nimble. You really can tailor the sport to play how you want to. In a way, I'm bound to say that, if I'm trying to encourage people to get involved. But it really is so. These badminton people have only been playing, players I used to play with, they've only been playing for the last perhaps 8 or 10 weeks, and they're all getting decent games now, very decent games. And not just amongst themselves as former badminton players, but also with those of us that have played pickleball for some time. So you can get into the sport. Obviously it's helpful, as with any sport, if you've got a bit of hand-eye coordination. We've had people walking by who have said, oh yeah, that's interesting, what's that called? Have wanted to join in and can do.
Yeah, it sounds a bit of a strange question, but if you can make one wish for pickleball, what would it be?
I think that people weren't anymore asking me what is this game. I think there are about 7 or 8 sports centres in Wales that play it, and there are probably about 20 in England. Well, when you think of how many sports centres there are, that's not actually very many. It is allegedly the fastest growing sport in the UK.
How can people get involved?
They can look at our website, which is just Google Torfaen Pickleball and you'll get onto our website. At the moment we're meeting in Pickleball tennis courts on a Tuesday, Thursday and Friday morning. When we're back indoors, I think we'll be playing Tuesday and Thursday mornings and Friday evenings in the leisure centre, in the sports centre in Torfaen. There's a few people who were playing in Pickleball. I'm not sure if they're playing there anymore in the leisure centre there. But so they can do that. Just get in touch with me. I'm johnkillick@gmail.com, and I'll tell anybody anything they want to know about it. But if they want to play, it's helpful to let me know first, but you don't have to. And the reason it's helpful is that if you were to come down, and I know you're coming down as a starter, then I can make arrangements in advance to help you get into the game, so that you're not suddenly asked to play with experienced players. I mean, that's what these badminton players did. For about 4 weeks, they only played with their colleague badminton players, but now they mix in. I will do what I can to make it easy for you to get involved with the sport.
John, as ever, talking to you, it's been brilliant. Thank you very much for talking to us today about pickleball and Torfaen Pickleball Club.
Thank you very much for your time.
And don't forget, if you want to contact TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance, for anything regarding the third sector here in Torfaen, get in touch regarding funding, volunteering, any kind of support or governance. info@tvawales.org.uk. You can also find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @TVA Wales, or of course on the website. It's all there at tvawales.org.uk. This podcast is produced by TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance.